Well, that's a way to win a hockey game. This one was a bit wild at times, but the Avs get the job done by scoring a bunch of goals. I guess all I had to do was complain about it. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. We got Big E and Rudo coming to you live, or just Rudo. Oh, there we go. We're back. Avs win 5-4 over the New York Rangers with a game-winning goal with 15 seconds left on the clock for the Avs to get there. In a Sega Baba, they avoid overtime. They break their own losing streak. They hand the Rangers their first regulation loss in 11 games. I don't think it was the cleanest game ever, AE, but what's not to love?
We talked about it pregame. It's the magic of MSG. It's fun. Like I said, those afternoon games over there are so fun as a player to play in. And boy, oh boy, if you're a fan and you're in that building or in your seat at home or, here in Denver or anywhere around the world, that was a fun hockey game. And it's always more fun when you win, the way they did it at the end. And like you said, justice was served a little bit for Kale. And man, oh man, that was a horrible call at the end. And then, you know what? You overcome those things, and sometimes you rally around that, and then you move on to the next game, and you're 1-1 on this trip. You try to go beat the Islanders, which is not the greatest team in the world. We all know that, but you got to go play the game, and you do, and you win it. You win the road trip, and you little steps like that get yourself back on track. Get back on track.
Yep. It's step by step, right? You can't go on a winning streak in one game. You can only win one game at a time. So you got to do the little pieces. And look, a lot of credit to the Avs on finding a way to win in a Sega Baba game. I think it was pretty clear as the game went on, the Avs' legs went out pretty bad. But they managed to battle through it, and they managed to find a way to win, even if it looked a little bit sketchy at times.
Yeah, and it's a cliche, right? It's the good teams they find ways to lose, to win. Sorry, when you're on a losing skid, you find ways to lose, and this is what I felt was going to be like at the end there, with that call. And I'm like, oh God, they're finding ways to lose right now. You know what I mean? Couple become it, but no, it went the other way. And then my saying now is, good teams find ways to lose, to win games in this manner sometimes, where it's a little bit all over the map, and credit to the Rangers. They punched back every time they got punched. They punched right back. And you, like you said, 11 games without a regulation loss. So that team's rolling right now. They're playing pretty good. That was a good test for the Avalanche. Again, coaches and yourself, because of your review, don't like 9 goals, but I think the fans do it. I think it was fun. You know what I mean? I think it was fun, and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was fun, and it was electric, and some nice plays, and obviously lots of posts, so it could have been a lot worse.
The only thing I don't like
your
about
review,
it should have been 10 goals. All right, should have been 10.
Yeah.
Hey! Look who it is.
What up?
You joining for fun, or you got something specific to say?
No, just for fun. It was a fun game.
All right, cool. It was a fun game. Missionist in the chat saying this. Avs rolled 4 lines. All forwards played at least 10 minutes. The only guy under 10 was Keaton Middleton on the defensive side at 8 minutes. And he even got a point tonight. So good for him.
Yeah.
Getting his first point with the Avs. Look, I think when you're talking about them rolling 4 lines and doing things like that, that's what playing with a lead does. And I know the Avs, you could argue, blew some leads tonight, but technically they never trailed in this hockey game. They had a 2-goal lead and it got erased, but they never fell behind. They had another 2-goal lead, I guess. Was it? Yeah, it was 4-2 for like a second. ultimately, they were able to get it across the finish line by playing from ahead. I don't think this was a major worry or anything, but we had seen over the month of January, the Avs had blown a few leads. Does a game like this help put that behind them a little bit?
I wasn't
I'll give you the
listening.
floor, buddy. You threw me off now. You were saying to playing with the lead, right? Is that what you're saying? Because instead of falling behind?
Well,
I'm
saying they closed it out
me
this
off
time.
now. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I said after the second period on my little bit there. I said, find a way to be automatic like they were for so many games this season, the first half of the season where they were up after 2 was automatic. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign of a playoff team, of a good hockey team. So be ready to answer to anything, and they did. Even a disallowed goal, and you know what I mean. Like so, whatever. You know what I mean. Like a lot was thrown at them. They responded, and man, oh man, was that fun to watch Makar with 15. It was the guy. It was the right guy to have the puck. With 15, 20 seconds, whatever it was, 20 seconds to go. So yeah, they were able to overcome a lot of things, and obviously win after 2 is very important. So you're right. Get some leads and close games out, and very important, as you know, like you said, they didn't trail during the game. They didn't trail once, so that's a good thing. That's a good start today. And then we lost.
A bunch of individual players to talk about. We'll get to a lot of the bigger names in the second period of this podcast, but I want to start with a couple of different guys. And he's back. Magic.
I guess, yeah.
Cam doesn't like you.
Dude, it really doesn't.
We don't have this problem with Rudo and Eric. It's just you.
I want to get your guys' thoughts on Blackwood's game tonight.
It was okay.
Okay.
I have a hard time being too upset with it. Maybe the only one that I kind of feel bad about is the one that got behind him for the rebound.
Yeah. You get most of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. They really did not help him out much today.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
The quality of chances that they allowed, it was even, there were so many good ones. The scoring chances, they just piled them up, and it wasn't like it was purely in the third period. It was a lot in the third period. When obviously Colorado's legs are going to go at the end of the Sega Baba, and they're trying to protect the lead, but it's good enough, right? Like he's one save better than the other guy, and
yep,
that's fine. You need to win some track meet games every once in a while, but after the whole, he hasn't allowed more than 2 goals as an Av. It's like now he's only allowing more than that. And so you would like for him to shut the door and get back to a little bit better of a game, but I mean, I really don't have very much criticism of him. Like you play him on the second half of your back-to-back for this reason. You're expecting the team to not be as good in front of him. They weren't, and he still got you the dub.
I will say there was one play in the third period. I forget who it was on the Rangers that was working on Blackwood's left side, and you see the biggest push I've ever seen from Blackwood across for that top of the crease pass, just because of how many goals lately, especially with Blackwood and net, that the Avs have been letting get through to that back door again. And Blackwood just said, absolutely not. We're not doing this again.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. Was it his best game? No. Was it a career game for him? No. But he did the saves that he had to make. You know what I mean? And even at the end there, right before, maybe 10, 20 seconds before the game-winning goal, he makes a big save there. And that's important. Obviously, game over if they score there. Here's what I'll say about him, not being a goalie, as you guys know, but loving the position. If you look at it in the first period, if you're rewatching the game, like you can tell a couple times he pushes and he's not comfortable. And goalies get in their own heads. You know what I mean? They know, and you can tell And then there's a little puck thrown at him, and he doesn't catch it with his glove, and then it just comes. Then he has to make a couple more saves laying on his belly with his pad. He knows that's on him. He's not a guy that points fingers, but it's like he wasn't sharp. You know what I mean? Like his technique, even pushing on one of the goals, he's not sure. He's caught in between. Is it the first goal or the second goal? I don't remember. But he's caught in between pushing, and then he's like, "Am I pushing or not pushing?" Then he's doing the splits kind of, and then he has to push, and then it's like doesn't get it. So he'll be the first guy to tell you. I don't think he liked his technicalities of the goaltending position. You know what I mean? But made the big saves, like you said, multiple times, and certainly made the big one at the end. And that's what the Avs care about. He doesn't care about giving up 4. At the end of the day, they got the W, and that's what he cares about, and that's what this team cares.
That's true. The W is the only thing that matters there.
Right.
I did want to talk about the second line a little bit, and this kind of goes back to last game, too. The only goal the Avs score comes from that Parssinen, Lehkonen, Middlestat line, and then they get on the board again in this game in the second period. It's 2 games. I'm not saying read too much into it, but does it feel like the Avs are finding a little something? Is this Casey getting back to where he needs to be? Has Parssinen been a spark plug there? What's working?
Well, I do think it's interesting that we're talking about the second line again, having a little bit of success, because it wasn't that long ago. It was the Dallas home game where that line completely dominated,
Off,
right?
yeah.
And then it was a bit of a struggle, and then they score yesterday. They score their only goal, and then they get them going again today. They get another goal, and then Juuso Parssinen should have had an assist on the disallowed Makar goal. So you're talking about they produced 2 goals for you in this game, obviously one of which counts. But I think that it's not just Middlestat. Everybody's obsessed with talking about Casey Middlestat all the time, but Juuso Parssinen's also a guy that has not really overwhelmed with success since he got to Colorado. But I think that, watching him as a 4th line center, you're like, okay, maybe that's not the job for him. But you watch him, you look at him as this kind of middle 6 wing. Hey, let's put him with a little bit of skill, and then let's go see him create a little bit of offense. He does that. He's able to do that for you. I think that that's part of the learning process of figuring out exactly who Juuso Parssinen is going to be as an Av. Finding that success, it's not just about, is that line successful? Obviously that would help if that line could continue to find the score sheet, but whether or not Parssinen is there or he's on the, he swaps places with Ross Colton, whatever, that they're finding that out with Juuso Parssinen in particular, I think is important. But really finding the chemistry between Artturi Lehkonen and Casey Middlestat, seeing that they're able to get a couple of things going here across multiple games, that I think is really, really encouraging, and you really start to feel like, okay, you have the glimmers of hope. There's light in the eyes of Casey Middlestat once again.
I really like the poise, honestly, of Parssinen. I think he gets the puck. His heart rate does not oh God, it's not a hot potato. He's got poise. He can make plays. We saw that. That's an elite play he made tonight. You know what I mean? When he goes behind the net there. Like I said, I would have wrapped that around, and Rudo would have been mad commentating and saying, "Look at that moron," But not him. Not him. Makes plays, you know what I mean? And, it's kind of nice to see, you know what I mean? A bigger body, again, traded, finding your way. It's been, a month now, whatever it is. It takes a little time sometimes. And maybe, maybe they found something. And they obviously saw something when you make a trade and you give up a 3rd round pick, correct? For him. Yep. Then you see something in him, you know what I mean? And I think you just said it. You nailed it right on the head. It's tough to ask someone to be a 4th line center if really that's not what you are. You know what I mean? And that's not fair on anybody. Sure, I say it all the time. You have to find a way to stay in this league and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's not in you. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's in him, you know what I mean, to be a 4th line center. I think it's more what you're seeing right now, to make plays and to be with a little bit of more puck possession players, you know what I mean, than just more, clock killers, dump and chase, which I love those guys. You know that. So that I'm not bashing that. It's just I think he fits better there.
I might not like your wraparound take, Z, but I'm going to make you look smart on Parssinen here. All right. What do you always say? It's hard when you don't get the good ice. It's hard when you're playing 6 minutes a night.
It is.
Since joining Colorado, Parssinen has played over 10 minutes 4 times. He has points in 3 of those 4 games.
That's it. I mean, I don't care what people say. It's hard to produce from the bench. It's hard. You can impact the game, like, in different ways, but you're not going to produce. I'm sorry. Like, it's impossible. Just go look at my stats, Hockey DB. Just look at them. It's impossible to produce from the bench. It's hard. Like, I'm not being stupid. Like, but you can do something else, like alert the players that are on the ice that there's a penalty ending, like at the end of the game. Maybe a guy from the Rangers should have said, Borgie!
On this one, aren't you?
Oh, my God. It kills me. That's why I hate guys that complain about playing 5 minutes a night. Okay, then I'll ask you a question. Did you say something on that play to Borgen on the ice? No? Then okay, then shut it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear it. You can be part of it even if you're not on the ice.
I will say maybe a little bit of a chicken and egg scenario with the TOI for Parssinen. Does he get more time when he's playing well, and that's why he has points in those games, or is he producing because he's getting more time? Who's to say? Bunch of other players to talk about, though. First, we got to pay some bills as one of our newer sponsors here. What do you think, guys? Do some of those refs need to take some Mando to clean up the stink of some of the calls tonight? Whatever it might be, if you're trying to smell better, butts, balls, grundles, pits, you name it, Mando has you covered. Make sure you get with them and you get their starter package, which you can get $5 off of when you use code DNVR over at Mando. Of course, they have tons of amazing products that include, obviously, the deodorants, both stick and cream style deodorants, but a ton of other products as well. So jump in with them if you haven't gotten with them. Again, the $5 off the starter pack is 40% off your starter pack. It's kind of a sick deal. So get with them. Use code DNVR, shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Let them know we sent you over there. Support our show. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Once you're smelling good and feeling good, go get something that smells good in a different way. Go get yourself some sexy pizza. Reward yourself with some good food after an Avalanche win. You can get with Sexy Pizza today to get pizza by the slice, but they have great specialty deals every single day, and they're a big part of the community. They support a ton of different fundraisers, whether it be for charities or for local sports teams. You name it, Sexy Pizza is always out here celebrating with the community. And it's more than just that. Depending on what location you go to, their special can get you a slice of pizza and a drink. And if it's an alcohol serving location, you can turn that drink into a beer. You can even get 15% off if you're a fan of DNVR when you use code DNVR15 either online or in store. Sexy Pizza, serving sustainability, community, and hand-tossed pizza here in Colorado. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. There's a couple of things I want to get into, but let's stick with the specific players here if our 3 stars is ready to go. Let's get into them. Star number 3, kicking things off here. I think you could have done a number of players. I just did this one because I think it's funny that he scored on his uncle's team. Jack Drury getting his first point in an Avalanche jersey. I do want to talk to you guys about Drury and what you've seen with him, though, because on the one hand, by my eye test, I've seen a lot of interesting plays. I think there's some real skill in the offensive zone that he's shown, but every time I look at the metrics, and I know 2 games, small sample size, sure, the possession numbers aren't great.
Yeah, I mean, his line today in particular got their head kicked in, but on an individual basis, I actually really liked what Jack did. And to be honest with you, he won 2 of the 3 faceoffs on the penalty kill. That immediately is going to be my favorite thing about the guy. Even if his overall faceoff numbers aren't great. He only won 4 of 9. Woo. But 2 of 3 on the PK. Great. But he's really smart. And he is, think he's been good on the forecheck. I think the high energy is helping, and he moves the puck quickly. He's not getting the puck and then the lights go off. He's comfortable with what's coming. He knows what he's doing. I think that's something that intrigues me quite a bit. And knowing how young he is and getting into a more up-tempo offensive system, let's see. I'm intrigued. I find it fun. And the tip is great. It's a tip in goal from 30 feet away.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Not super common, but I thought today, I know what the shot metrics look like, but I thought today was a really, really good overall performance to get an idea of like who he is as a player.
I like him for one word. I'm going to use one word: competes. You know what I mean? You can't teach that. You can't teach compete. This guy competes. I've been saying this a little bit the last few. We need a little more dog out of some guys. This guy's a dog. You know what I mean? He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's a little thick, though. You know what I mean? But he's not the biggest guy in the world. But I think he loves hockey. I think he wants to play hockey. I love, like I said, I love the fact that he's wearing number 18, Chris's jersey. I think it's great. It's going to give him a kick in the butt. You know what I mean? Like to get out there, and I think he's going to be a good fit. He has done real good things in the National Hockey League the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like finding his way. Obviously, lately it had been a little bit of lesser role with the Hurricanes. Hence why they decide to move on from him. But sometimes it's just a fit somewhere else, and all of a sudden you're back on track. I do believe this guy will get back on track. I'm using one word: compete. When you compete, good things happen.
All right. Well,
I think I do think that's a really important element too, because we're talking about replacing Yuri Inala and Chris Wagner's of the world, guys who have been in Colorado's bottom six for much of this season, and I guess a little offense to them, but they weren't doing anything. And Jack Drury comes in right away, no idea what's going on around him, no idea what the systems, no idea what's being asked of him, and he just gets there and puts the work in. And that is one of those things that I think it's a great point by Eric that, yeah, he competes. You're going to get a guy that's going to give you that effort that immediately raises your floor as a team.
Kind of in that same boat, right? I'm not saying the ridiculous tip-in goal Jack Drury scored today is sustainable, but Yuri Inala has played 15 games for you and has 0 points. It took Jack Drury 3.5 periods to get a point for the Colorado Avalanche. It's a difference. Drury's certainly putting in a lot more effort than AJ's webcam. I'll put it to you that way.
Or whatever, yeah.
Whatever it is. Star number 2. This one, the top 2 were really easy for me tonight. Star number 2, Marty Necas. Look, that version, it's really easy to see the vision of how this guy could be really, really good in Colorado. It's not just the 2 points he picks up, which were great. It's not just the 3 posts and his willingness to shoot, which is huge for the Avs. It's the speed. It's his hard work. He draws penalties in this game with his speed, with his hard work. This is a genuinely fun guy to watch if he's going to play like this.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Go ahead. Go AJ. Go. Same rotation.
Just an absolute the willingness to shoot, right? I think is a huge was a huge thing, and I loved that yesterday. It was like, well, how's this guy going to handle playing next to a right shot forward on his right side? He hasn't ever had to do that. And today's response was, play him on the left side, put him over there for his one-timer,
just do
and
the seam pass the
sudden,
other way. Yeah,
it just pops off, right? You're just like, we just flipped it, and look at that. Marty Necas definitely should have scored a goal on the power play today. I mean, he was really good, and his willingness to shoot, the aggressive mindset, everything that you wanted from Necas today. I mean, like, this was like the best of who he is as a player. The playmaking, the creativity, the speed. Oh my goodness, and the hands. his best play of the game doesn't even result in anything when he dances through their defense and then puts it wide. I mean, my God, the guy was awesome. He was Colorado's best player today, and well, he was Colorado's best forward today.
Best forward.
And,
I'm good with that.
I loved his game. I thought this was like my God, this is what they traded for. This if you get this 3 out of every 5 games, we're fine.
Chilling. Big chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AJ knows, Rudo. Like, I've loved this guy for years. Loved him when he was like broken at 19, and I remember talking to AJ in the press box years ago and saying like, "Ooh, this guy," you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, this guy I like." And, not the only guy. A lot of people around the National Hockey League has liked him for a bit now. Listen, he just kind of fell into a different kind of role in the last few years, right? In Carolina or whatever it was, and it looked like it was a little complicated last summer. With his deal, let's not hide from that. It was a little complicated, and whenever you're young like that, and your GM is openly, this is not rumors, openly calling everywhere, and everyone knew about it, around the league is, because of whatever the reason was. I guess we'll find out. But, they were willing to part ways with him, and that's fine. But I love, like you said, his speed, his shot. And the one thing that struck me yesterday was just standing next to him in the locker room. I didn't know he was that big. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize he was that big. Like, you're talking about like you got a big neck and, like big, stronger than I thought. You know what I mean? I mean, to be flying around the National Hockey League like he does, you got to have some power behind you, or, but I tell you, I wasn't expecting as big of a, I'm not telling you he's going to, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just telling you that he's bigger than I thought, and he's got more size than I thought, and I think it helps him out there.
To sum it up, he quick, he thick, but most importantly, he sick.
Yes. I must break you. No, that's a different movie. That's Rocky, right? Whatever. Wrong movie. What's the Terminator? What does he say?
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Yeah, something like that.
I will say his height is a little deceiving because he does have like 7 inches of neck. So it's like, oh, he's 6'3". Cool, but it's not very functional. But yeah, he is bigger than people expect, and to see him move out there, woo.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch when it looks like that. Our number 1 star should be obvious. He should have had a hat trick in this game. Cale Makar, a 3-point night, regardless of missing out on the hat trick. A made-up penalty against him, and he comes out and helps the Avs win the game by feeding Lehkonen for the game-winning goal on top of the other incredible play from the guy. I asked the other day if Cale is back. He might be back. He might be back, folks. He's really good.
Yeah, he went away for 6 games, and we were like, is he bad now?
That's the standard.
Being a podcaster is awful sometimes, man, because we just have to talk about it. But it's like, you know that this is not the case. You know that this is nonsense. And
yep.
Well, he's pretty good, dude.
He's pretty good, and I would have loved. I mean, again, this is the stupid part of me. Like, so don't just follow me here. I would have loved for Rangers to score on that power play at the end of the game, and I would have loved to see what he said behind the camera with a microphone in his face, because that was a horrific call. I would have loved to have him get mad a little bit and go, "What? That was horrible." You know what I mean? And you know how he's so polite and so nice, and it would have been great to see him just react to what he had to say behind the camera. But I don't. Thank God, that was just a joke. But all hail Cale. I mean, this guy was wow. This guy's good. He's not good. This guy's sick.
Do you guys
special?
Do you guys know why he didn't score a hat trick?
Because goalie interference is stupid.
No, because you guys aren't all matching. Only
That's
two
true.
of you are
Only
wearing
2
all
Cale shirts.
I don't have a Cale shirt.
I don't count in this, so it's all up to you guys.
I mean, if you're looking for a throwback call, I'm just saying, Kale on pace for 29 goals right now this season.
Don't say this. Please don't start this. I don't want to live through this again.
I won't say anything about it. What I will say is, if you look at the bylaws of podcasting, it states Rule 17, Section 3, we are required to discuss goalie interference every time it happens. What is your guys' take on that could have been hat trick goal for Kale?
I knew it was no goal because the guy said no goal on the ice, right? You know what I mean? Then it's like, only thing I love Miles' determination there. You know, it's just that to me he just gets in the blue on his own and never really leads to laughter. You know what I mean? Now, does that really impede the goalie? Man, it's a soft league now. You know what I mean? Like, again, I can't say that back then. No, but back then, I remember as soon as our foot was in the blue, it was a no goal. Remember? Like, it was the dumbest freaking thing. You don't understand how many goals were called back. I caused about 50 goals one year against, because my skate was like right on the line. And it's like, dude, just get out of there. Well, you don't know where you're at sometimes, and you get pushed, and you're looking up, and you're about to get hit by a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot, but no visor. So you're like, you know what I mean? But no, I'm just saying, I don't fault Miles there. I think he pushed hard there. I don't know, man. I felt bad because that would have been a great hat trick. I think a couple people lost their hats, for it. So hopefully they got.
That's the worst. Oh, you immediately recognize it. You throw the hat. You're living large, and then they wave it off, and you're like, "Can I have my hat back?" No, it's gone, buddy.
No.
Yeah, I think it's. What adult language am I allowed to use on this show now?
You can't say the big 7 words.
I think it is not the greatest call. I understand why it got made. Like, I understand what they're looking at on the ice, and that Wood goes in there. He's there on his own. Like, Wood puts himself in the paint, but Wood doesn't at any point ever actually impede Igor Shesterkin from doing his job, and that's where I get frustrated because I'm like, he doesn't do anything. The problem is Lafreniere, who he's like battling with Wood, and hey, move him out of the crease. Like, he's allowed to be there. It's not illegal for him to be in the crease. It's illegal for him to prevent Shesterkin from doing anything. He didn't ever really do that. It was the battle between Lafreniere and Wood that created any contact that was the problem. And that I get why it's goaltender interference. Like, I get it. Oh, yeah. Especially this season, they have totally cracked down on you put yourself in the crease intentionally and you made no attempt to leave. Like, we're looking for a reason to call this goaltender interference. I understand. But I think that it was maybe it took away a hat trick from Cale Makar, so that makes me mad. Full bias. I'm upset about that.
I'll hold on, Rudy. I want to add one more thing. So if you're Shesterkin and you're evaluating your game tonight, you look on the scoreboard, it's 5. This one, forget about it, didn't count. You got beat this one because it didn't impede him. So mentally he knows he got beat. So that's 6. And then those dead on posts, so he's like, I know they're not goals. I get that. But you get beat. It's not like he touched them. You know what I mean? He got beat. So the Avs, you got to be pleased with that in the sense that as much as they haven't scored a lot of goals lately, tonight was 5 plus a few more that could have easily gone in. You know what I mean? Like, easily gone in. And, so I think you have to be happy with the offensive output from the Avs tonight, even from that stupid goalie interference play. You know what
I mean? My problem with it is kind of what AJ talked about with Lafreniere. Miles is in the crease. Yeah. Sure, fine. Lafreniere defending him can choose to play that from anywhere, and he decides to position himself on Wood's back hip even deeper in the crease. So any impedance to Shesterkin there is going to be Lafreniere first, Miles Wood second. And it's not goalie interference if a defenseman decides to get in the way of his own goalie. forward in this case, I guess, but a player for the defending team. So I really don't know how you can blame Miles Wood for that one, but it's goalie interference in the NHL. Trying to understand it is a mistake.
Yeah. Take
a
a step back, Miles. Just take a step back.
Yep. All right. We do got to pay some more bills here. As this podcast is brought to you by Bet365. Make sure you're going over to Bet365 and using code DNVR365 when you sign up. You use that, you bet $5 on anything. Win or lose, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. So jump in, get the free money to play with, and then go crazy. Have some fun betting. If you bet on Makar tonight, I bet you won a lot of money. If you bet on the Avs to win, you won money. If you bet the over, you won money. I did take Necas goal, but only 3 posts there. So 2 of my 3 bets hit. Not bad for Bet365. Again, make sure you use that DNVR365 code. And when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Then, when you win some money, make sure you're getting over to ShadyRays.com to get yourself a brand new pair of sunglasses. Shady Rays has literally hundreds of different styles, whether it be polarization color or sunglasses shape. They even have prescription sunglasses if you are a blind person and you need to see. Make sure you're using the DNVR code at ShadyRays.com to get 35% off any pair of polarized sunglasses. Over 300,000 people have given them 5 stars. And the coolest part is you can just try a pair. If in the first 30 days you decide you don't like them, you lose them, or you break them, Shady Rays will replace them entirely for free. So get that 35% off with code DNVR at ShadyRays.com today. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Power play. Let's talk about it. Obviously, they get the goal from Makar. Great. Awesome. Love that they're scoring goals. Funnily enough, the power play they don't score on was maybe their best power play in forever. That second power play was awesome from the Avs. They probably should have scored a goal on it. Net just hit 2 posts on it, I think. Puck just wouldn't go in. But boy, was it fun to see a good power play from this hockey team.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Good answer.
No, I love what I love. You said it, and I've told you before, and I'll say it again. I don't mind if you don't strike, because at some point, if you're doing the right things, you'll strike. You know what I mean? But that second power play right there, yeah. What can you say? You can't say bad job. Come on, it was awesome. It's the best they've looked in so long, and they didn't strike. But they did everything, and it kind of was nice, because instead of power play being over after 20 seconds, it kind of gave us another 2 minutes of what can be and what you can do when you do the right things. And they were retrieving pucks. The Rangers were absolutely gassed. They had nothing left, because you are outworking them, you are outsmarting them, you were using your skill, you were using your shot, you're using your weapons. It was great. It was fun to watch. It was awesome, and those power plays, again, look at the difference at the end of the game. Yes, Lecky scores, with 15 seconds, whatever it was. But there's a big difference in there. You have a 1 power play goal. And when you do, usually it helps you with the outcome of the final score. It just does. It just does. It makes a difference. Where the Avs were scoring like 1 goal a game or whatever it was, rarely did they connect. Obviously, they're shooting 8% before tonight in the last month, whatever it was. So really wasn't good. But right now, I think today, you can build on that and bring it, and then do it again Tuesday on the island, right? Just do it again. Keep it up. Bring some consistency to every parts of the game.
Yeah, the first power play is 23 seconds, and it scores. So
Yep.
That's the point. Good stuff. The second power play is 2 minutes. They have 4 shot attempts, which it's not amazing, but they have 3 scoring chances and a high danger chance in 2 minutes. That's the numbers they've been putting up in 6 to 8 minutes of power play time over the last couple of weeks, which was obviously bad. But for 1 power play, you're talking about multiple posts hit. Like, they had puck possession, they were moving. I think McKinnon is I was already complaining about this. I thought that McKinnon was already the key. Today is just my confirmation bias kicking in hardcore, because you watch Nathan McKinnon, he's moving around. That makes it harder to defend, because any team out there is going to go, where's Nathan MacKinnon on the ice, and naturally react to that. Because if you don't, you'll get scored on. So they have to react to what MacKinnon is doing. This is a different look. This isn't the same stagnant 3-man triangle that they've kind of been passing the puck around between. They do it a little bit differently. They don't score, but they look a hell of a lot more dangerous. And Marty Necas makes a great case that he needs to be over there full time because,
well, that's what I want to ask. In like small sample sizes, again, whatever. What are we giving more credit for that activation and seeing that movement on the power play? Is it Necas, the player, being a spark plug and creating a little bit more movement, or is it that strategic decision to move MacKinnon away from that left side and put Necas there instead?
I don't even know if it was strategic so much as it just kind of worked out that way because
so much as Marty said, I'm going over here.
It didn't start that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Like MacKinnon was over there, and then as they were moving the puck around, he got it back, and that was just sort of how it all played out. And then the results were what they were, where you're looking at it going, wow, I'm very encouraged by this. So, and they didn't waste time forcing pucks in the middle of the ice where there were 4 defenders bracketing one guy, where they were like, yeah, jam it in there, just hope that something happens, to poor Arturi Lehkonen, who's getting abused while he's trying to take one-timers, or he's not even looking at the net. It was just significantly better than what we have seen. I think it was the movement, and there was a little bit more of a freedom there of not falling into old habits. That was the one thing with Rantanen, was that there was a lot of stagnation with these guys. They've been doing it for such a long time that I think they just kind of fell into bad habits, just ended up sort of baked into their gameplay at the point, and that was very, very different. And the goal that they score is great, but I mean, it's 23 seconds. Please continue to score 23 seconds.
If every power play could be 23 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. But to see them have a power play that, because we've talked about this so much, man.
They put the work in.
Couple months. Yeah, you see a power play that just saps your momentum because it's lifeless and awful. Then you get back at 5v5, and the other team is feeling good about itself, and you're feeling bad about yourself. That power play did the exact opposite. Immediately after that power play ends, Colorado is competitive, and they score a few minutes later. So you're talking about, they build momentum off of it because it's dangerous. The other team is sitting back and defending. The more you defend, the more tired you get. Easy stuff here. They shot the puck. They retrieved the puck. It's not rocket science, right? Like, this was not crazy stuff. It was simple concepts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, like you said. You start somewhere, and it's all new. The one thing that they knew, and we knew, and everyone knew, and everybody in chat knew, is one weapon's a righty, one weapon was a lefty, and that's what kind of mixes things up a little bit. You know what I mean, on how they're gonna figure this one out. But it sure looked pretty tonight. The way it just unraveled, like you just said, kind of took a life of its own a little bit. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, whoa. That was nice. That's what I meant by it's kind of nice that the puck didn't go in. Then you kind of saw for 2 minutes what it could be. You know what I mean? What can be your basis of your power play, and go from there.
All right. Let me just ask you guys, because I'm not sure how I feel about Nathan MacKinnon's game in this one. Where are you guys at with it? Obviously, he makes some great plays. He helps set up goals for the Avs. But you also saw multiple shifts of, I'm sure some of it is tired legs from a back-to-back, but it did feel like indifference defensively at times too.
Well, I mean, the one goal against.
Yeah, where he just skates away.
What the hell?
I genuinely don't know.
What was that? I mean, literally, you're not even like exact. He skates away from the guy. There's nobody there. He's not skating to anything.
It was almost like he thought the Avs had possession of the puck, and he was like, all right, I'm leaving the zone. But the Avs did not, by any stretch of the imagination, have possession. Like,
dude, I was baffled. Just baffled. I was like,
Don't be.
I don't understand what's going on here. So, but defensively, he's terrible. He's always been terrible. Always. He's always been terrible defensively.
True.
It's fine. Blackwood even makes the save on that. It's Jonathan Drouin losing the foot race to the rebound behind him. And
you're right.
Jonathan Drouin, tough day. Tough day for Jonathan Drouin.
He was
picks up a point, but defensively loses 2 battles that turn into goals against. That's, rough.
Yeah, and yesterday too, right, on that first Bruins goal on the far side in the offensive zone. That, for me, that's a lost battle. I like Jonathan. You know that. You guys love him. I think right now you're missing a little bit from his game is that he brought a little bit of sandpaper last year. Remember when he was very effective? He brought that little – he made those plays on the wall. He didn't lose those battles. So I think if we get back to that, if Jonathan can get back to that, and again, it's been such a weird year for him because of all the injuries and missing time. And I've told you guys, I'll say it again. You come back from an injury, you always have a little bit of a dip. You know what I mean? Like into 10 games into it. It's just life. It's just the way it is. I feel that he's an outstanding player. He's a great compliment to Nate. But I think if he knows that, I think he'd be the first guy to tell you. If he can win those little battles, it's going to really correct the course of its game. And he's going to be the Jonathan Drouin that we know. And was so good down the stretch last year.
All right. I'm going to take a quick pause here, and then I want to talk a little bit more about the Avs defense. Okay. So, look, this is going to be hard to separate. Clearly, especially in the second half of this game, the Avs' legs just disappeared. The back-to-back caught up to them. They were struggling to keep up. But there are 2 things I want to hone in on the defense on what you guys make of this. Number one, and this is more focused on tonight's game, although we had seen it earlier in the season, not as much lately. Avs, do they have a penchant for giving back goals? They go up 2-0 and almost immediately give that goal back to the Rangers in this one. Is that a mental thing? Is that just a lapse? Is that part of the being on a Sega Baba? What is that when the Avs kind of fall into that rut?
Man, that's a great question.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
$1 million question,
I
guess.
Yeah, it's a great question, and to me is you'll make mistakes at times. Yes, you'll go in stretches. Look at Blackwood's stretch of 10 games where all of a sudden he's giving up like nothing and his .960 save percentage. Like it's not sustainable. It's just not. You know what I mean? So because of why? Because of games like today. You have a good game, and and then all of a sudden you give up 4. So is this the greatest game ever? No, but you gave up 4. But somehow, you're not. So I think it goes the same thing with goals against. You know what I mean? I do believe. Sorry, I just pushed at my computer. I think the Avs. God, I hate saying this because I sound like a dummy trying to tell people, the simple things. But it's true. There's 2 teams out there, and this is a team that has won 10 games, whatever. Have not lost in regulation in 10 games. They're feeling it lately, and in order to put a 10-game run, you're gonna go get punched, and then you're gonna come right back in that stretch, and that's exactly what they did tonight. They just fell short a little bit at the end, but if you look at the Avs run when they went like 9-1-2, whatever it was, there's times when you're behind, and look at the Buffalo game. You know what I mean? You come back, so I think it just comes and goes. Which will lead us to talk about a little bit about the, the D pairings or whatever you want to call it, the decor, because I'd like to talk about that. But yeah, somehow, you know what I mean? Like there's games, and again, look at yesterday. They gave up 8 shots after 2 periods, 0 high danger chances. You know what I mean? So it comes and goes. There's two teams out there. I hate saying that because I sound so freaking condescending, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like there's two teams, and then sometimes you have to give credit. You know, how about that play that Sammy G made? He plays it perfectly, that 2-on-1, and then Lafreniere slides the puck underneath his laces. I mean, come on,
Dude made a better play. Dude just made a better
so
play.
good.
For sure.
It was
come
so
on,
good,
like
man.
you gotta go like this. Not because he's French and from my hometown, but you gotta go like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, tip your hat to him. You know.
The problem isn't Sammy G there. The problem is what happened to your other defenseman / the forward.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I'm saying is, but there's a recovery, and the recovery's perfect, and then it just, I mean, it's like, man, come on. And you ask Lafreniere to do it again, it won't happen. There's no way it can slide under like that again. No way. You know what I mean? So, and he did it. So it's awesome. You know, you tip your hat, you move on. You know, but yeah, you're right. Again, I said it after the first period. Way too many odd man rushes. There's no need to have those, you know, early in the game like this. But the other team created them. Obviously, you watch tape, you know where you can break them down, and they certainly did. You know what I mean? Because they did get a few odd man rushes.
Okay. The other topic for the defense, and this is a known issue for the Avs over the last 18 months, probably. When they struggle to stop pucks from getting to the top of the crease area or through the top of the crease area, it feels like they give away a lot of easy goals on those back post plays and things like that. And I get it. Most of the Avs defense is not built to outmuscle and win the positional battle in front of the crease. You have Manson, who you want to be able to do that. And I guess in theory, Middleton should be able to do that for you. But what can the Avs do better at stopping pucks from getting through that area?
Yeah, this is an unsatisfactory answer, but it's you don't let it get to that point. You know,
sure. You have to stop the puck before it gets there. I get it.
Yeah, because just how you're built, the personnel that you have right now, you're going to lose some of those battles. You look at both of the goals against the first two goals from the Rangers today. That's it. Like that's what it is. You just lose that battle. Now the first one's not. It's Parker Kelly and his broken ass stick, which was such a sad, like the goal gets scored and then he like throws like the broken stick. And he's it was just very sad. It's like a sad cartoon.
I get he has a broken stick there, so maybe it happens anyway. But when you look at the way the Avs cover it, it's Keaton Middleton and Parker Kelly both taking the same guy in front of the net and completely abandoning the guy on the back post.
Yeah, and there was a lot of chase in Colorado's game today. Defensively, they were just. I even saw Gerard do it multiple times, where it was like, "Where are you going?" And he's just chasing. He just locked in on where the puck was, and he was like, "I gotta get it! I gotta get it! I gotta get it!" And I don't know. It was them. It was just not a tight defensive game, which after what they did yesterday in Boston, it felt like that letdown was inevitable, right? That's the best defensive game that they've played maybe all season. And you look at the game-winning goal, it's this exact play that we're talking about, just that right through the crease, on the back door, bloop. And I think it's in a lot of these mistakes, you look at that goal, you look at the third Rangers goal with McKinnon, just whatever, and then Druin not winning that battle. Like, you're talking about the forwards are also just not getting not doing a good enough job defensively. They're not competing enough. They're not competing enough. They're not clearing out the middle of the ice. They're leaving it open. They're allowing guys to just kind of freely roam. The Royal Road is too busy. They gotta move some bodies out of there, and it's not this decor is just not built to do a lot of that. So your forwards have to help out. Your forwards are just going to have to be a little bit tighter.
I'm struggling a little bit with the third pair. I'm not going to lie. I don't see the jam in Sam's game right now.
Why isn't Dahan playing, man? Why is Dahan not in the lineup?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm a Sam Milinski fan. You guys know that. I think we all are. I just feel Sam's like he's a little tentative right now in everything that he does. Sometimes you get sat out. It just kind of makes you realize it and get you, sets you back up. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's weak. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I just haven't seen it since he came back. I see him bobble plays. I see him not have that zip that he had. Where at times I would look and be like, "Is this Kel Makar?" No, oh my God, it's Sam Malinsky. You know what I mean? They make that's how good he was. He would make plays, and you weren't sure. Like, is it 70 or 8? Who is that? Like, you know what I mean? So I just don't feel the swag right now in him. I want him to regain that. I would tell you if this was his first year, this is his, first time playing, that heavy schedule and lots of games, compared to college hockey. But this is his second year. I don't know. I just want him to find back that magic that he's had. And I just, I feel that it's a little bit detrimental to the Avs. And you're right, and Keaton's Keaton, he is what he is. But, and I'm going to answer Jordan a little question there. He said, leave your feet. Jordan, I'm going to tell you that I would tell you that there's a lot of coaches at the top of the league and wins in the history of the National Hockey League that will tell you that will demand every freaking to this day, for guys to go down on a 2-on-1. I can tell you a lot of D coaches in this league that will tell you go down. It's all a preference. Some guys say don't, and some guys say do. I can't tell you. I'm not a D. I didn't. Hockey, forwards are terrible at skating backwards anyway, so we always scramble. We don't know what we're doing. But I'll tell you one thing: if you can master the slide, if you can master everything, it's a weapon. Obviously, if you can't, then it's a liability. But I can tell you that a lot of teams to this day in this league demand that you go down the way Sam Girard did.
I mean, the Avs are no stranger to it, right? Eric Johnson made a career out of doing that, and AJ will tell you can slide. Just make sure you slide into the puck carrier. If you're sliding into him, and you know what? Sometimes the dude's going to make a better play and you tip your cap. But the same thing happens when you don't slide. So
exactly. I can make a play too. So, I mean, I'm not a D. I couldn't tell you because I kept my full on during games. If you play D, you shut half your brain off. I'm just kidding. That's what forwards say about Ds because we make fun of them. But so just to clarify, I'm not picking on Jordan. I'm just telling you, like, I can tell you for a fact, like,
is Cale Makar what it looks like when a D uses 100% of his brain?
I've seen Cale slide. I don't like when he does because I don't like him being on his belly and something happens. But But that was a great question by Jordan. That's why I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was really, I thought it was cool, like to say that because but I agree with Jordan. In fact, a lot of coaches will tell you, no, we don't slide. You get traded and you go to a different team. No, you slide and you get an earful and you're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? This is what I've been talking the last 6 years. So whatever.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about the Mikko stuff tomorrow. I know Eric has a bunch of stuff to say about that, but we're talking about it on Monday's show. To wrap up tonight's game, it was Filipovich that tweeted, "Lecky has a penchant for scoring big goals, huh?" Right?
Yeah,
dude's just got a knack for it. I don't know what to tell you. Lecky, right place, right time tonight to put the Avs on top. Created by Cale Makar, but still nice to have Lecky to finish.
I felt so bad for Yoel Kiviranta in that situation because he's like the third guy in that odd man rush. He's driving the middle of the ice, has nothing. The puck never touches him. He gets no points, like nothing, right? And he drives the middle of the ice and he gets smoked into Shesterkin and goes hard into the wall. And everybody else is celebrating, and you can see Makar and Lehkonen like looking down, like
you okay?
Yeah, is he good? Like, should we help him up? What's going on here? I was like, oh, poor Kivy, man. That's cold.
Call that being a decoy. You call that being a decoy. In practice, when you see guys go down 3-0, you're like, yeah, I want to be a decoy. Yep. Or you go 2-on-1 with McKinnon and he shoots, and you're like, yeah, decoy. You hear it all over the ice, So,
look, fun. With those two guys, he better be the damn decoy.
I'd be mad. Don't give it to Kivy. Yes, show.
Yeah, Cale looked up, saw Kivy, and said, nope, and went to the next option.
That was Joe. Joe Sakic all the time. I swear to God, yelling at me on the bench. Don't you ever give it back to the D, ever. Okay. I'll just give it to you.
We will be back tomorrow. Mentioned talking of Mikko contract trade stuff. Game Tuesday. We're off Wednesday, but we will be interviewing Nicole Hensley. So we'll have maybe a PWHL day on Thursday or something like that. It'll be a fun show. We'll have a good time. As for today, though, we are out of here. We appreciate all y'all hanging out. And thank you for all of the likes as well. No winner shots at home, but here's some monster for you, I guess. I don't know.
Water.
This has been the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.